Hey everyone, so today's video is a requested video. This was requested by Hamster Horses and Cats, and it's to do basics of rat care for beginners. First thing you want to consider is the breed of rat that you're going to buy. There are many different breeds of rats out there, and I'm going to go through some of them just to see if it helps anyone with some breeds, but I'm going to go through the most common ones. On average, rats usually live to around 2 to 3 years. Some can live longer though. It does depend on their life and how wealthy it is, and happy and healthy they are as well. So whether they've had any illnesses or health problems in their lives, have they had any stress in their lives as well, have they been really stressed, making sure they've got the correct care as well, making sure they're in the suitable accommodation, so all the correct care as well. And really happy lives definitely boost their life expectancy. A rat's personality is absolutely amazing. They are such sweet, loving animals, and they do love having attention from people. They're extremely sociable, and this makes them easy to tame as well. And because they're fast and quick learners, they will easily be able to learn some tricks if you start teaching them some tricks. And they're just really fun to watch. They're really funny animals, but such talented, amazing pets as well to have. Very sweet and affectionate, and definitely their personality is huge. Such an amazing personality. Rat companionship is really, really important. As rats are very, very sociable pets, they do require lots of companionship, and this should be from their own kind. So make sure you always buy 2 or more rats, never 1. A rat that's often by itself will become very lonely, and they can get very stressed from this as well because they've got no one to play with or snuggle up to. It's really stressful for rats to be by themselves, and you should never have a rat by itself. And they are perfect in pairs, and they work really well in groups. When considering accommodation for rats, it's really important to make sure you go for a nice large cage. The minimum size a rat should be housed in should be 80 by 50 by 60 centimetres. There are 3 main needs that rats do require when finding accommodation. First one is space, the ground space. The cage must provide lots of ground space for the rats to run around in. Females especially are very energetic and very fast and active, so they do need lots of ground space for them to run around in. Second one is space and width for toys. So lots of space for toys to fit into the cage, but also providing more space for the rats as well. And nice barred top to go with the toys, because there's lots of hanging toys that you can hang from the top of the cage, which rats will love climbing on. And the last one is height. Rats do love climbing, and they are excellent climbers. They always climb constantly, so it's really important to make sure you provide them with lots of height. Make sure the bars of the cage are not over 2 centimetres, as rats, especially females, can easily fit through these, as females are smaller than males. So ensure that the bar spacing is at least 2 centimetres and not over. When considering bedding for rats, it's really important to make sure you go and do your lots of research on beddings and what rats are sensitive to. Rats have a high respiratory system, they're very sensitive, which means if there's any dust near them or any dust on the bedding, they will have an immediate reaction and probably cause lots of breathing problems to them and make them very ill. So it's really important to make sure you avoid any beddings that contain dust. Fleece is a brilliant option. It's really soft on their feet, it's really absorbent as well, and there's no dust coming from it either. It's really easy to clean because it's simply just put in the wash. So fleece is a brilliant bedding and it's very popular with rats as it's a very snuggly material. It also makes brilliant as sleeping bedding as well. You can also buy other different beddings as well, which are pellet form. Pellet form is probably the best one you can buy as they are a lot dust free than the softer beddings. I'm going to show you a pellet form bedding that I would recommend myself. Back to nature. This is a brilliant bedding for rats. It is extremely dust free, really good with the absorbency, and it just makes brilliant bedding for rats. This bedding. You can also purchase Carefresh, which is a brilliant bedding as well, and quite a few people do use that for their rats as well. It is important to make sure you provide a sheltered area in your cage for your rats, where they can go and sleep or even have a little rest. So a few sheltered areas is great to have in your cage for them. Hideouts and brilliant for shelter. Also lots of room in there and you can fit lots of fleece, and it's a brilliant sheltered area for rats to sleep in. Even cardboard boxes can make great sheltered areas, as rats love going under these, and this can be free as you can get them from a recycled area in the shop, and you can get boxes. You can also make DIY sheltered areas as well, as you can see I've done here. All I've done here is attach two baskets together. These baskets together with cable ties, and that's all homemade and a really cheap way of making a sheltered area too. Now this is optional, but this will keep your cage much cleaner. I do recommend putting a litter tray in the cage. It really does help keep your cage much cleaner, and because rats are so intelligent and fast and quick learners, they will easily be able to learn to use your litter tray, and they'll use it really well, and it will keep your cage much cleaner as well. And it's just much better, it's more hygienic for your cage, and it's something I would definitely recommend having in your cage. When doing health checks on rats, it's really important to make sure you know what you're looking for and illnesses that can occur in rats. This will also help you know the signs that can occur when checking and health checking a rat. You should at least do one health check every single week. Things you need to look out for in rats include eyes. Make sure the eyes are clear and free from discharge. They should be bright and quite alert as well, and there should be no discharge around them. There should also be no redness around the eyes either. Check their nose to make sure there's no mucus or any red coming from the nose, there's no red marks, and it's completely free from discharge. Also listen to their nose and hear if there's any snuffling going on, as this could be a sign of respiratory breathing problems. Make sure that their ears are free from wax, they're nice and clear and there's no wax in the ears. And also check to make sure there's no smell coming from them. Any bad smells could be signs of illnesses, or it just means they're dirty and they do need cleaning. But rats are very hygienic and they will wash themselves. And also making sure that your rat's fur is completely free from any cuts or wounds or any sort of grazes, scabs, anything like that. So check their coat to make sure it's good and it's healthy. The coat should also have a nice good sheen to it. It should be a nice shiny healthy coat to make sure that's how you know it is nice and healthy, and that's really important to make sure as well. And check that their teeth are orange and they're not white. If they are white, this means they're not healthy and there is something wrong with their teeth. So their teeth should be a nice orange colour. And also check to see that their teeth are not overgrown. They're a nice good length. Another thing to look out for is nails. Make sure their nails are not overgrown, they're not too long. If they are too long, make sure you do clip them, either with a good pair of pet clippers, or you could get them professionally clipped by a vet. If there are any signs of illness or any problems you're worried about in your rats, then take them to your vet immediately. When considering what to put your rat food in, consider always using a bowl. But there's always two differences between materials, as there's a stronger material and a weaker material. The weaker material is plastic. I would actually not recommend using plastic, as rats can easily chew through plastic bowls, and also as plastic's quite light, they can easily tip over the bowls as well. So ceramic is the best option for food. As ceramic is also cold, it keeps the food nice and cold as well. And also, they can't tip over the bowls as easy because ceramic's a lot heavier as well. Ceramic's just a much better material in total, it's a lot stronger, and they can't chew through ceramic either. So ceramic is the best option for bowls. And for water, obviously you're going to need some sort of water bottle to hold the water in, especially for rats as they need lots of water in their diet. So make sure water is there at all times. When picking bottles for rats, there's 2 different bottles that you can go for, either plastic or glass. Both make great materialed bottles and they still work really well, but some rats you may find start to chew through plastic bottles, so it's more advised to use glass bottles. But most of the cases, rats are fine with plastic bottles. When considering rats' diet, it's really important to make sure you have all the nutrition balance needs that rats require. It's really important to make sure you have the right amount of fibre, proteins and fats, and also make sure there's hardly no sugar or too much fat in the mix as well. There are many different types of mixes sold for rats. I wouldn't actually recommend purchasing a rat mix, and I'll get onto that in a minute into why. In here we just have a mixture of Pets at Home rat nuggets, Supreme Science Selective rat pellets, seeds and flakes from the Veggie Rat mix, dried corn and alfalfa. Starting with dried corn. Now this might be really noticeable to many people as you'll often find this in muesli mixes, and the majority of the muesli mix is filled up with dried corn. But unfortunately, what people don't understand or know is that dried corn can contain high levels of fungal contaminants, and that's what reacts with rats' stomachs. Then this can cause liver cancer later on in rats' lives. So this is a really, really unsafe food to give to rats, and you should always avoid giving this to rats as a commonly food. But it is okay to feed this in moderation. The next food is alfalfa. And again, most muesli mixes do contain alfalfa, and this is really, really unsafe for rats. Rats can't actually digest alfalfa. What happens is when they have too much of the alfalfa, it builds up in their stomach, they can't digest this, and eventually it can just get too much for the stomach to hold, and rats can actually die from this. So do make sure you avoid alfalfa at all times. However, this can be simply avoided just by making sure that you buy a muesli mix that doesn't contain corn and alfalfa pieces in the first place, or some sort of mix from a website that you know and you check the ingredients on that the corn and alfalfa pieces are not included. This way, this will save you a lot of time spending ages on taking all the corn and alfalfa pieces out of the mix. Or another option, you could simply make your own homemade rat mix. And this is also quite cheap to make, as you can buy the ingredients yourself, which you can buy cheaply from many different shops. Also, you get to decide what ingredients you want to put in there, so you know everything you're putting in there is safe for them, but do make sure that you have all the balance needs, all the nutritional needs are in that mix. This again is a much easier option of making your own mix, and it's obviously a lot safer and healthier too. There are many drop treats that are sold for rats, but rats are actually lactose intolerant. This means they can't have any dairy products in their diet. And drop treats do contain dairy products, such as milk and milk preservatives. And there are many different drops that are sold for rats through pet shops, such as milk drops, yogurt drops, choc drops, and wild berry drops. So these must not be given to them. So there's a lot to know about a rat's diet, so there's lots of unsafe and safe foods that you can feed rats, but there's a huge amount of foods that you need to know that are unsafe for rats, so you're aware of them. Also ones to be fed in moderation as well. So I will link a good website in the description of safe and unsafe foods, also ones that can be fed in moderation as well.